Good morning. I have so much bread to make today, so this is going to be just the beginning of a very busy day of getting dough put together. I'm doing a double batch of dough right now, so I'm starting with 300 grams of active starter. 700 grams of water, again, double batch of dough. All right, and we're gonna mix this up into a slurry. And you have to shut off your scale. Again, I'm not sure. I think it's something to do with the calibration. You can mess it up if you are mixing on it. I don't know. I just listen to what I'm told sometimes. And now we are going to go in with 1,000 grams of bread flour. I delay adding my salt for an hour, so this will be the extent of putting our dough together. And then we'll come back in an hour to get our salt addition, and then we'll take our aliquot sample size, and that's what lets me know whether or not my dough is properly proofed. Right at 1,000, perfect. So we're gonna mix this into a shaggy dough. Not even sure how I'm gonna do all this dough today. I'm mentally thinking of like, what large vessel could I mix everything up in, because I don't have that many mixing bowls that I can just have dough sitting in all day. I did make and shape a couple loaves. I just posted those videos, so I am going to bake ours right now. I got my oven preheated to 450. If I set it to 450 initially, it just gets stuck at 365. And then if I put it to 425, immediately it's preheated, and then I can bump it to 450 and then it works. So it's very strange. I think my dad said he ordered a sensor that would be here today, so hopefully I can get my bread baked before in case he shows up with that sensor. Make sure that everything's incorporated here at the bottom. I don't want dough all over my hands. I know that this seems silly at this point, but I'm already over it and I have a long day ahead of me. So the glove is just gonna mentally make this process a little bit easier on me. And then I know everything got really incorporated. So I think this will probably just be my 2 garlic cheddar loaves that are for the same person. And then I'll throw together his 2 focaccias right after this. And then, I don't know, go from there. We are gonna cover this bad boy up and come back in 1 hour to mix in the salt and do our aliquot sample size. We are back to add our salt here, which is going to be 20 grams. I forgot to grab myself a little water container here. Just take a little bowl of water next to me to keep my hands wet, and it helps the dough from sticking. Let's just see here. And what we're gonna do is just really get that salt incorporated. This out of the way. Oh yeah, my dough's already got a nice structure. I'm not going to need the glove here. That's perfect. Just want you to see kind of the texture and consistency of the dough after an hour. And I mess with it a lot just for the fact that I want all that salt to be incorporated into the dough. Just to build up some structure and gluten here, make it a little bit tougher. I'm good to go. All right, feel good with that. Now we need to take the temperature of the dough. The temperature tells me what percentage of rise I need for my dough to be proofed. And I utilize the aliquot sample method. My little 2-ounce container here based on the temperature of 68 degrees. Yeah, we're gonna do 32 grams. 31.8 works for me. Put the lid on. This will go into the dough just because I want it to maintain the same temperature as the large batch. And we will come back in 30 minutes to do our next set of stretch and folds. Second round of stretch and folds on this double batch of dough for an order tomorrow. Got my little bowl of water here to keep my hands clean. I was adding my salt and trying to get my sample for my second batch of dough that I was making this morning, and I broke my scale. So I'm going to have to make a run to a store around here that's got a kitchen scale, which is a lot more baking to do today, and I've become reliant on using my scale versus measuring cups. Back in here she will go for, I'm gonna put my lid back on a little bit better here, for 30 minutes, and we'll come back for our third round of stretch and folds. We are gonna do our third set of stretch and folds here. Just build up a little bit more strength in our dough. It is coming along really nicely. This dough is really, really cold today. As my last stretch and fold, we'll see. Again, this is a double batch of dough that we're going to be using for 2 normal size garlic and cheddar loaves for tomorrow. I'm gonna also pick up some garlic to roast. Just, it's a nice addition to the minced garlic. But I don't know, I might come back and do another set of stretch and folds or just call this good. We'll see. Turns out I have plenty to do, so I am gonna do my final set of stretch and folds here. My dough is looking and feeling very nice. I'm very happy with this. And I just got done baking a loaf, so that one turned out pretty cute. My daughter wants, or likes when I do hearts, and a friend of mine wants hearts on his loaf tomorrow, so I figured I'd practice with our loaf I made for home. All right, I'm going to cover this back up for the remainder of our bulk ferment and then come back for shaping. We'll see. I'll probably do that in another video just because this is going to be 2 garlic cheddar loaves and it's a lot of extra time and work to add those inclusions. So this video will probably get way too long for that, but it's our final round of stretch and folds. We'll let it rest and then come back when she's done.